how did you get into this project? Were you one of the parents, or did you live in the area or know a student?
So I was elementary school classmates with Elizabeth Greer, who is the main film participant, parent participant in Let the Little Light Shine. And so we were elementary school classmates. I had not talked to her though in like 30 years or so.
So many ugly things have been said about us, about our children, about our color, about our ability to learn. When that narrative becomes the reason why they should shut you down, then it becomes personal. Because now you're talking about my kids.
Tonight, a proposal to convert an elementary school into a new high school is pitting parents against parents and parents against Chicago Public Schools. The school in question, the National Teachers Academy.
A high-performing academic school.
I saw that she was posting stories about the fight to save NTA. And my early memories of Elizabeth just, being an elementary school classmate, she was very quiet and shy and, intelligent, and just took care of her studies and that kind of thing. And when I saw these stories of her posting about the fight to save NTA, and she was a headline on a lot of them, it was an entirely different person. She was very demonstrative, very, she was just in total control, of the message, of the narrative that she wanted to get out there about why it was important to save National Teachers Academy, why this was a special place and a school that should be celebrated instead of potentially transitioned into a high school. And so that transformation for me, watching somebody kind of stepping into this role of activism, a person who was just an average everyday citizen, a parent who was concerned about something, but then finding a way to really try and do something about it and rallying other people to do that as well, was something that was really intriguing to me beyond just the whole idea of what was going on at NTA.
This is about gentrification. This is about tailoring to wealthy middle-class folks versus low-income families.
This whole thing is a sham.
What do we take stands for? Things that we believe are right.
This is the moment for me that I have to stand up.
Starting today, we will be ignored no longer.
You watch this movie, you really get a sense of what NTA was all about. You really get a sense of what the struggles in regards to the two communities in the South Loop, what were their big issues, and why there's been this discord for so many years. You get an understanding of all that, which I think would color and help any decision making that the district plans in the future as we're talking about, reimagining neighborhood schools.
Well, the kids were very animated. They wanted to know, what they were excited about, what was going on there, and didn't want to move, correct?
Correct, yeah. I mean, the kids were a huge part of this fight to save NTA, especially the 8th grade students from the years that I followed. And you see some of them in the film, Taylor and Marie and some of her other 8th grade classmates. They were at every protest, they were at every city hall standoff, at every Board of Education meeting, really learning, the things that they had learned in school about the civil rights movement and how to fight for social justice, and then putting those things into action. I really enjoyed my time with all the NTA students that I was able to get to know and film with. I think they all have a bright head on their shoulders. I think they've had great educators there at the school that have really sat there and kind of found the gifts that exist in each and every one of them, and really worked to try to help them reach their potential.
Well, education, our doctors said very early on when we first had our children, education is the only thing that no one can take away from you. They can take away money, they can take away cars, they can take away houses, they can take away anything. But once you have that education, that's yours forever.
right.
And
right.
that's why it is so absolutely important.
It's
What
the
were-
equalizing force, it can be the equalizing force in our country.
Who are you hoping will see this? I mean, in other cities, do you think this is important for people to see?
I definitely believe this is not just a Chicago story. This is a universal story when we're talking about gentrification. We tell it through the lens of education, which is something that's new, but gentrification is happening throughout our country and in all of our cities. It's determining who gets to live in certain cities and certain neighborhoods. And so it is one of the telling trials that we're going through as a country, especially when you look at some of the themes that are parallel with gentrification and race and power and privilege. So this is something that
And
exactly.
violence as well.
Sure. And so this is something that is everyone in many urban areas are experiencing.
Were you surprised when they got that final ruling, that surprise ruling at the end?
I was surprised because we're cynical people, unfortunately, and as much hope as we might have, but I think everybody is kind of heard in a lot of school closing cases. It usually sides with the district, dependent, in any city, not just Chicago, but in a lot of municipalities in our nation. You don't get this kind of outcome a lot of times where the community ends up winning. 4 hours later at that celebration at the Velvet Lounge, you hear that the district was dropping the proposal. That was a total surprise, but certainly a welcome one.
Yes, a lot of jubilation.
No doubt, yes.